Well, hey, it's Uncle Ray again. I'm just going to get right down to it. I said this would be for chords. Again, it's like there's so many different concepts to share with you. I'm going to try and get some basics out of the way here, but most likely I'll be creating a lot more separate videos on particular aspects of chords. But let's get started. You said that you were having, you were playing strumming. So obviously you know chords, and it wouldn't surprise me that obviously you're either learning from your friends or your dad or your mom, chords, and that's good. And then strumming. Well, let's look at these chords, and I'm going to try and get across how they're all related with each other, and then of course what they really mean musically and how you move back and forth, okay, between them. So I'm going to assume that you already know what the E chord is, which is, and you can play it that way. You can play it this way, because that, if you just replace the nut with your index finger here, that's basically what a bar chord is. Because that E, or that E shape with the bar can be played anywhere, so long as, of course, there's your root note. Okay. The other one is an A. Now it has its root note on the second string, which is A. That's why it gets its name. And I'm going to call, this is what people refer them to. It's like play the E shape, the bar E. That's what they're talking about, E, because it's the E. And you have the A. And the A, I think I've seen so many different ways of playing it. Number one, it's like this, where all three fingers are just stacked up on each other. I can't do that because, I don't know, I'm retarded or something. I think a lot of it is that my fingers just don't fit there. You can play it as a bar, with any of the fingers. In fact, if you look at Jimmy Page, when he plays the chord, he plays it like this. That's all he's doing. And it took me a long time to realize he's not playing some exotic chord. That's actually, he's just playing the A shape bar up here. That's an E. So we'll get to that in a second. What I do is that I actually, instead of stacking my fingers or playing a bar, I play the bar as much as I do this other technique, and it's down here, is that I actually use my index finger in that middle of the stack and put one finger on top and the other finger on the bottom, and I'll explain why as one of the little technique aspects to it. Okay, so we have E, I play A, and then you have D. I'm sure that you either heard or people have shown you those. Those are three of them. Then you have G, and you have C. Those are basically the five main chords, and everybody refers to them in that nomenclature. Is they might not say, oh, that's the C, but what they're referring to is that C shape, just like E. I could be like, oh, let's play A with the E form of that bar chord. Well, there's that, right? We can also play it with the G form. That's one of the things about chords. Some of these chords, their stretch is too much. I can't do that, so I don't play them. But it's important to know that it's there, and there's where the chords are, and you can get there, because all this A is, see, there's that A, the A's on E, and then A there. If you want to top it off, that's the root. So the technique thing I was talking about, and it's something that is going to help, because it certainly helped me, so I think it's going to help you too with your strumming, is that having to take your finger, you're strumming along and you have to take your fingers off the fretboard, and then you have to, kind of figure out where to put them down there. It's what I call using like an anchoring system. and that's what I do with this. You see what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this finger anchored on that string, and I'm just going to slide it back and forth, you know, from this fret to this fret to play an E, an A, and a D. See, I never took that finger off, see? And then what that does in two ways is it helps you, you know, when I'm moving, because there I can go from the E all the way up to the D. All I'm doing is moving that back and forth. One of the things that is good about that, besides smoothing out your chord transition, which is what you want to do, the other thing has to do with starting to understand leading tones, you know, because you see it's like I'm going to play this. See how you hear that? It's a leading tone to that E, right? So you got. Now, when it comes to the other two chords, because there was three of them, there's 5 chords, right? There's the E, the A, the D. See, I will, you know, use the, you know, the barred with that finger a lot, particularly down at the root level here. The other two are the C and the G. Well, to use that, you know, kind of like anchor leading tone theory, you know, you can go G. See how that's. When you're transition, you know, so it's like. And now you can start hearing that it sounds a lot more musical, right? As opposed to just hitting. And it leads the way to, these are just 5 of the basics, and people use those as a base to start describing other things like, you know, of course, these are just all your major chords. Each one of those major chords has a minor complement to it, okay? But they have other, which are called either embellishments or, you know, you're just adding notes on. Basically, that's what you're doing, and that's why it's important to relate it back to your scale, because I can be sitting here playing, and I'm just playing part of it, right? You're starting to learn how you can use that leading tone and this anchoring system to help do that transition, okay? See, because I'm going to another classic, which actually I play. Okay, see, when I'm doing that D, you know, the G, C, D. Okay, and see how it is. I didn't move that finger, and I was playing this song, and it was a lot easier for me to do that transition and play where I don't have the stops, okay? So the next concept is basically, it's a system that they've come up with, and like I've mentioned before, it's like always playing, and these are, they call them cowboy chords, you know, just playing cowboy chords and such all the time is restrictive, I think. I mean, I've seen many a performance, that's all they did. But, you know, to be frank, for me personally, I end up getting a little, you know, bored, because there's so much more that one could do with a guitar. And so this system is called the CAGED system. It's C-A-G-E-D, and it's all cap. And what it means is it's using those chord shapes I just mentioned, right? C, A, G, E, in D, but you're, you know, where each one of those forms, you're playing the C with those chord forms all the way up the neck. So you're getting basically a different tonal quality out of whatever it is you're trying to do. So we're going to use C here as the basis, right? It's just going to play C. So in the CAGED system, you're going to play, you know, they're calling it the chord form. That's not the note name. Okay, so we go C, right? And so the next C up is the A shape, right? So it's like it's this, but frankly, it's, see, there's that A, you know, there's that A bar right here. Well, there, that's C. So you can go that chord and that chord. They're different chords, but they're both C, right? So there he is, C, A. The G, which looks like this, is actually, you know, like this, and it's a difficult one for me to use. I don't really use it that often in this position, but then it would be C, A, and then what it is there's your C. You can work it out. See how I've picked up now what is called that A shape, but it's up here. So that's C, A, G. Then it comes to the E shape, which is this. Then there's C. Just work it out. You know, you know these. I've taught you that linear 1, 2. So it's E, A, no, E, F, G, or E, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B, C. You know. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting all screwed up. I'm trying to play, you know, C, but I'm playing it off of the E, you know, so it's... But nevertheless, let me go back and start over. So you have G, C, A, G, and then E, and then there's your root note, so you want to create that D shape at the end. That's why they call it the CAGED system. Now, why this is important to me is you go over and, like I was writing a simple song, and this is how you make them much more eloquent, and you don't bore people. It's like, it's just a G, a D, to a C. You know, you can just do it pretty simple. You know, that'll get kind of boring after a while, but if you sit there and you realize that you have this C, and now what I'm going to do, it's a sort of a trick, is that just because it's a bar chord there, you don't have to play all 6 strings. You can just pick the parts of the song out or the chord out that you want. In this case, I'm just going to take the bottom 2, which is, you know, the root, 3rd, 5th. There it is, of the A shape, which is defining that C chord, right? See? So what it is, it goes leading tone, you alternate. So see what I was doing? It was nothing but D's and C's, but I played it in a different shape, and it completely changed the feel and the way that the song sounded. And you can go all the way up the fret, and here's another example on how to do that. It's in A, I believe. So it's just an A, then it's a D, and you know, there's this D. If you sit there and realize that actually what it is, it's C, if you just move it up, you know, two frets, you get this, but then I just drop that off, so it's kind of like, you know, and so you get this. Okay, so knowing that I'm only going to play pieces of these chords, watch how this changes. It goes. Very standard, you know, you're going to have to learn how to do G, then I do C. So watch this. Those were all nothing but D's and A's. So A, you can play D here. Here is A, the bar chord A, right? I'm just playing the middle parts. And then there's that A form of a D, which is, see, D. And then I went up to this form of an A, the C version of an A, up here, and ended up with the D using that E bar chord, but I'm just playing, you know, the center part. So see how it changes and it adds more life? You'll and then to finish it off. Well, I hope I didn't, you know, booger that up too much. I had a lot of mistakes in there, but I'm going to quit there for now. I'm going to do another one, which is more of, you know, why the chords are doing what they're doing and the shape the way they are and how you use them. And the important thing is then it's going to be going back and connecting it to the scales, the degrees of the scales, and then how you use those. Because what we've been playing predominantly are just 1, 4, 5 progressions. It's pretty simple. And then we'll get into, you know, in order to do a lot of the, you know, Nashville numbering, so I'm gonna have to show you how do you construct the minors off of these major scales we just played. Love you, bro.